We're waiting for a large gas line to be installed to enhance our commercial production, and that's been completed. So now we are able to begin the process of going from a few hundred pounds a day up to 2.5 tons per day.
We had fantastic people working with us, the general contractors and our employees, smart guys, hard workers, and putting our heads together and putting a plant together that no one's ever built before. So it's coming together. We're very excited about what we've got.
The Financial Survival Network. Now more than ever. The Financial Survival Network.
And welcome. This is Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz, and we've got a major update. Many of you out there have been requesting that I get an update on Regenx Tech Corp, and we've got CEO Greg Pendura with us, as well as the Regenx USA President, Rick Purdy. Gentlemen, welcome. I am really excited to be doing this update because, hey, I've got substantial interest in the company. I've been following you now for over a year, and things are really starting to come together. I just want to set the stage so you out there understand what Regenx does and why it is so revolutionary. Basically, we all know about catalytic converters. You read in the paper all the time, all these catalytic converters got stolen from cars. Well, when it comes to diesel catalytic converters, nobody's trying to steal them out of trucks for the simple reason that they're of limited value. The traditional means of recovering the precious metals in those converters basically became more and more untenable over time due to the differences in the advancement of catalytic technology. And on that note, Greg, you're at the point now. We've been following this for a while. We've been waiting with bated breath, but the plant is ready to go and commercial production is starting.
Yeah, it sure has, Kerry. We just recently, actually, we just announced that yesterday to the effect that we're waiting for a large gas line to be installed to enhance our commercial production, and that's been completed. So now we are able to begin the process of going from a few hundred pounds a day up to 2.5 tons per day.
Right, and that's for module 1. And Rick, you've been the boots on the ground. You've been having to deal with whatever situation comes up. Obviously, there is no instruction manual for the challenges you've faced. Hey, it's gotten pretty intense, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really interesting project, and we had fantastic people working with us, the general contractors and our employees, smart guys, hard workers, and putting our heads together and putting a plant together that no one's ever built before. So it's coming together. We're very excited about what we've got. It's excellent.
So recently you signed a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, with a substantial potential partner in the space. I know you can't give us the specifics, and obviously we'd all love to know who it is, but you can't tell us that. What can you tell us?
Well, that basically came about from our presentation in Scottsdale this spring here. We were invited to present our technology at the Precious Metal Institute, which was very prestigious for us, and it was very well received. And from that presentation, our first NDA was signed because of that with a very large player in the industry. So they've got big plans for us, and we've got big plans for them.
All right. Well, that's good. And anything happening with that in the near future?
It's an ongoing process. I'll be able to say much more about this as we wrap up into closer to our 2.5 ton per day objective. And at that particular point in time, we will probably be able to mention the name and what the relationship entails. And obviously, we're all looking forward to that.
All right. And they're currently planning a visit to the plant?
Correct. They've been there already. Rick's been there with them, and they are coming shortly again.
So Rick, hey, you're on the ground there. You've been overseeing this since basically plant construction started. What is next? What's involved in ramping up that production to 2.5 tons per day?
Yeah, what we have to do is any commissioning of a new plant, we have to start first step one, for example, loading material, getting more material into our reactor systems, and then running it through each of the processes to do our recoveries, to find our efficiencies that we need to work on. And that's what's going to be over the next few weeks' time, is just adding more material, checking our recoveries, doing analysis on that, and then circling back and seeing what we need to do for efficiencies. So it's going to be a continual step-by-step program. If we need to change something, tweak something, it's just monitoring it and understanding truly what we're getting in for input and then what you get on the output.
So surprises, I'm sure you've had a few along the way, right? But hopefully surprises on the downside, we'll only see them on the upside, right?
Yeah, they should get less and less. I mean, we haven't had too many big surprises. We had a couple things earlier on the heating that we wanted to speed up our heating in this system, so we had to add a larger boiler system and gas line, as we've discussed and shared with the shareholders. That's probably the biggest one that we had to find out, but you wouldn't have known that until you got to step one and started to find out your timing for batches. But there hasn't been any big other surprises. We'll just carry on, and like you said, we want to limit that, and we're learning as we go, and we're creating the efficiencies. So.
Yeah, well, like I said, there was no instruction manual for this. You were basically writing the instruction manual as you went along. So that's totally understood. As far as the larger gas line, Greg, and the increased boiler capacity, how does that affect costs?
Both of those projects were not inexpensive, put it that way. But they've been fabricated, installed, and now we couldn't run the way we wanted to run without it, because the heating requirement is essential to be able us to continually run on a flow capacity. So, and that's the way we want to do it, as opposed to a batch runs. And so that will now enable us to actually, what we've installed is for far beyond just one module. So it's going to take care of our needs, we believe, for all 4 modules.
And Rick, as far as the increased gas consumption, that's not going to be a substantial cost, is it?
No, very minimal.
So to make the process more efficient, hey, a little bit more on the front end, but you'll get more on the back end because you can share it among modules, which is pretty cool. Hey, so Greg, you mentioned that you were talking to smelters who are currently stockpiling these diesel catalytic converters, but they're not processing them. What kind of response did you get as far as what Regenx is doing from these guys?
Yeah, as you alluded to, Kerry, there, the newer diesel catalytic converters, and when I say newer ones, the ones from about 2015 on, have got more and more silicon carbide in the material to make them more effective. And it's the silicon carbide which creates havoc with the furnaces, with smelters, creating hot spots, which really it sort of makes their system less efficient than what they want. So that's leaving an inventory. They have large customers that want them to process their inventory, and they would rather not. So for them to have a relationship with a company like ours, it's a win-win for them. I mean, they're making their customers happy. We're obviously happy. So we're looking forward to multiple relationships with smelters.
Right. And could you see off-siting another plant, perhaps near a smelter or near several of them? I assume most of the smelters are located in close proximity to one another.
Most of the smelters are on the east side, I'll call it, the U.S. We're talking about where we're going next, Kerry. It's not definite yet, but it's something which we're going to be discussing with our joint venture partner, Davis Recycling. But probably on the western side of the U.S. would be a beneficial place to go, put it that way.
Okay, so that's in the future, obviously.
Yeah.
And Rick, as far as what the raw material that Davis Recycling is providing you with, that's all turning out as expected?
Yes. Yeah, we've got the size of the material for input all figured out, working through that together. And yeah, supply is very good, and yeah, we can see that ramping up here in short order.
I want to thank you both, gentlemen, for this update. For anyone, I suggest you go over to the company's website, which is regenx.tech, and take a further look. And of course, the ticker symbol in the US is RGXTF. If you got any questions, well, I suggest you sign up on the website for notifications so you will find out exactly when commercial production begins. Guys, I'm expecting amazing things out of the company. Like I said, I've got a holding in it, a substantial holding, and I think we could see many multiples of where the stock is currently at. I wish you the best, and we'll catch up in a couple months.
Okay.
Thank you.
The Financial Survival Network.